Hi, welcome back to DIENER'S Diner. I'm going to be doing something a little different, creating a little mini-series of tripping on asphalt with DIENER'S Diner as we travel in our fifth wheel down south and out west while the cold winters back home stay there and we get a little taste of some more sunshine. So if you follow my channel, you see that I have a rather large garden. To me, it's a large garden. There's just two people basically taking care of it, growing everything, changing things up in it. And so in order to save the food that we grow, I did a lot of freeze drying and dehydrating, freezing, and so it's just a way to preserve the food. Years prior, I had to lose all my carrots, and we're talking 2 rows of 50 feet long, so that's 100 feet of carrots on each side of each row. So that's a lot of carrots that I lost. A lot of onions, a lot of potatoes, just different things that we couldn't contain over the winter because we didn't have cold storage. We don't have that availability yet. So I needed to come up with different ideas, dehydrating and freeze drying, and I did a lot of freeze drying before we left on this trip. And I got to thinking I have a couple years of freeze-dried food that was just things I wanted to try. So we packed a bunch of them into the camper, and we're going to be going through quite a bit of that. 1, to just use it up, 2, to save money, and 3, well, for something different. It still has the great quality. All of its flavor comes and returns once it's reconstituted, and the nutrients are still in the food. So it's a good source for us. It's something we grew. We know what's in it. We're not spending a bunch of money on ingredients we don't want. So let me take you inside and show you what I have. So, welcome to the inside of my fifth wheel. Living in a small space is not easy. It is definitely something to get used to. So back at home, I would store my items that I freeze-dried or dehydrated. I usually store the freeze-dried things in Mylar. If I had items that I wanted in a jar that I could just get out of my pantry, I would just use them. So I was able to bring just a few items, very few, in glass because, well, it's not safe, I don't feel, or is not efficient either to travel with glass. But I did bring a couple. These here are items that I grew. I used to just put a piece of masking tape with writing on there and also wrote on the bags, but due to different circumstances that we had, I had to adjust that as I went. So I've got some stevia that I grew. I did try to mark them so I kind of knew how much was on or in a bag. So this is a pint bag, and that's garden stevia. That's the leaves of the stevia plant, and that is 2 trays worth of freeze-dried from 8 of 22, and then you can see this is from October of 22. We've got some basil, shredded mozzarella cheese. That's not really an herb, but it's a good thing. Got some chocolate mint here. Chocolate mint grows all over my property, so I will have an endless supply of that. Got some sweet marjoram and rosemary and parsley. I was able to go to a local store and pick up some fresh rosemary, and I'd like to pick up some fresh basil as I continue to travel. So these are how I store my herbs. Now, once I open up a bag, they are sealed. They have a zipper seal, and then you also have a heat seal. Once I cut that heat seal, the heat seal, I'm going to cut right below it and as close to it just to get it open because I want to continue to save the bag as much as I can. And I use I'll show you what I use. Here it is, handy dandy heat sealer. It's a hair straightener and it works excellent. So in order to seal my bag up, I get this nice and hot. I just turn it on and put a degree up to about 360, let it get hot, and then I just pinch the bag and I kind of bend it because I want it to get hot. You can kind of see the edges shrinking in as the heat seals it. So I do that on both sides until it's done. and I make sure it's completely sealed all the way across so it continues to store the food properly. I do squeeze out any air, bend the bag over, remove any air that might be in there before I do that, and seal that up. So that's one way I can reuse the bag. I could reuse this bag all the way down to the very bottom if I wanted to. I haven't done that yet because I haven't had to use it all. So we'll see if that happens during this trip. So if you've ever had to travel in a fifth wheel or a camper and you know that your space is limited, but I try to make use of all the space. In here is some baking, a lot of my baking items because I want to do my sourdough on the bread. I've got seasonings here. We got coffee and some, plastic wrap and things of that sort. Got the toaster oven up there along with the toaster, some odds and ends, and of course dishes, plates, cups, bowls. So you can make good use of all the storage. This is things that we recently buy, so we're not trying to find it because in here, this is really deep, but it's dark and it's hard to get at things. So it's really hard to, you can bring a lot with and, you know, just ignore the mess because that's just the way it's going to be. I've got some plastic ware down here, and down here we've got some pots and pans and bakeware, and the hot water heaters down there. So there isn't much storage, but we can find storage. You can create storage with the space that you have. This is one of the benches of the dinette set. These are all freeze-dried food, and a lot of these we had to fit in one way upside down or another. This here is one stalk of celery that's chopped. These are all freeze-dried. We got some round sliced turnips, some diced stewed tomatoes, and the tomatoes, if they were from a can, I tried to mark them. Stewed tomatoes would have been from a can, but most of the stuff is stuff I grew, that we raised our chickens, maybe some pork. So this is all in here, and tonight's supper is going to be chili we're going to go back in time to June of yeah, that's way back in time, to June of 2022. I've got a quart of chili here. It says to add 1 quart of hot water and let set for half an hour. Now I could put the water right in here, inside the bag here, and let it reconstitute, or I could put it in a pan with the hot water, or if I wanted to, I could add some beef broth to that. At this moment, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to try it with the hot water, and I'm going to make sure that I've got some good filtered water for this. Up here in our cabinets, these are all, this is just packed all the way back with freeze-dried food. And this one also, in the center here, then my garden carrots that were cut into rounds. We got some blanched broccoli, sweet potatoes, more broccoli, raw cubed sweet potatoes. So another thing you want to mark whether they're raw, whether they're cooked, if they came from a can, colored peppers. This is beet chips cut in a waffle shape, and I made these from beets that I did nothing to. They were just raw, and scrubbed them clean, cut them. They're very good for a snack. Got some bananas from September of 22. More of all of that. So you can see I have quite a bit. I got some snacks. I've got garden turnip chips. And I wanted to try more snacky foods. The green beans, these are a snack. Now this has got Tajin seasoning on there. I'm not really thrilled with putting seasonings on the vegetables. They don't stick. They stick once they're wet, but once you freeze dry them, this has ranch on there. They're just not as good as, well, we're used to chips that are from a store, so what do you expect? When you make it yourself from scratch, it tastes a lot different, so you just have to get used to it. This is cucumbers from the garden, and I used ranch with a sour cream on that one. That's a brand new item this year, so I don't really know how that's going to taste. I've got a quart of pumpkin squash. If I wanted squash, if I wanted to make a liquidy type squash soup, I could. Whatever I want to do with that. So I've got all these options and choices. and I'm going to bring you along, and I hope you'll let me know what you think of this little mini series of Trippin' on Asphalt with DIENER'S Diner as I show you how I cook and make use of different items that I have for cooking. One of the things I do have is back outside, and I've got it underneath the camper here, is an all-American sun oven. Now this gadget, I love using this, and because I'm in the sun quite a bit, I know that I'm going to get a lot of use out of it. This opens up. Let me just show you. Just unsnap that strap, pull it open, and this reflective material. We open the door. There's a couple latches here, and there is a stand that helps prop the back up. This is a rack that levels as you position and turn your sun oven. And there is a little temperature gauge there. We can watch that go up. Let's get this put in the sun and I'll show you what I mean. So there's a little control panel, in a sense, right about there. It has this circle here and a circle inside there. See if I can get you in there. And we're going to try to get the sun to appear through the first hole. And see, there it is right there. And there is the, that's what we're looking for. We want those two, excuse me, to line up. And I'm just tipping the sun oven up. There, right into the center there. There used to be another one of those devices down there, but you can see the, that fell off. So not a big deal. It still works this way. And as the sun moves from the east to the west, we will move the sun oven. You can see how it's moving. So this little stand in the back of the sun oven, this is it right here. I'll show you how I just put this in. It has a little knobby here. Just insert it through the back. Push that down, a little plunger. And it's going to be pretty close to the bottom here because we are in winter where the sun is much lower. So we need this to be up as high as possible. I'm going to try to turn that. I'll put it in the second hole and we'll see how far of a distance we need to do. So I'm just going to put it back on the ground so you can see it's there. You could put a weight on there if you have something heavy inside the sun oven. And it's just about where we want it to be. It could be more like that, but then I would have to put it to the very bottom hole. And I can do that, that's not a problem. But like I say, once it's at the very bottom, it can tip over pretty easy. I do put a weight on top of here. So that is how I make use of the sun, using a sun oven to cook my food. And I've made many meals in here. I find it very fun and challenging to use the sun and other things that you have on hand to make the best use of them and see what you can do. Challenge yourself. Self-sustainability. How wonderful. So I hope you'll stick around for this little mini series. Tell me what you think in the comments. Maybe you'll want to subscribe. Maybe you'll want to learn more about how to freeze-dried food, how to cook with freeze-dried food, how to make use of your food or make use of the food you grow. Different things you can do with it. I plan on doing a little sourdough baking in the sun, and just lots of fun little articles that I want to show you that you don't have to rely on all the modern traditional or modern methods of cooking. You can do things differently. I hope you like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment, please, about what you think on this new series.